If you're constantly reading 2 or 3 business books every single year and like ideating on them and implementing, like that's where the development comes from. It comes from getting coached, comes from reading, comes from listening to really great, powerful podcasts and webinars and that kind of stuff. It doesn't just come like from doing work all day. You got to kind of sit back, ideate, and then implement. So I'm just constantly challenging them to get better and to do more. And I think they love that. We had super big time retention on our leadership team over the course of the years. And it's because I think people have loved seeing the growth.
Give us the different titles of those 5-6 different departments you have within your organization. And everybody listening, everybody viewing, write this down, grade yourself, see if you're thinking along the same thoughts. So that's powerful. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's sales, operations, marketing, branding, client retention, customer service or customer fulfillment. And you can go on and on and on. But those are generally the biggest ones. And so I'm constantly asking myself, am I working on those every single week, right? Am I doing something that's improving the systems and processes on all those things? The answer is yes, because like we're having the same meetings every single week where we have clear goals in all those different departments and we're moving the needle forward. And again, it's certainly not just me. It's probably the least me, right? Like I'm the vision and the direction, but there's people actually executing that are actually doing what they love to do and what they're in the right person, the right seats, and they're happy working on that part of the business. So that's going to go a lot further than somebody like myself, who's going to be involved in a part of the business that I know needs to improve, but like is not my highest and best use, right? So it's really impactful. And it's something, if you heard me talk 5 or 6 years ago, I was talking about those same 5 or 6 departments. I keep it very simple, and we constantly move in those, and that's a business, right? Unfortunately, most people, they don't have the structure, and then once they have it, they don't stick to it. We're very religious about sticking to it. And honestly, that was hard for me at the very beginning. Like I'm one of those people that like my initial thought was like, I just want to go. Like I can work and sell and all that kind of stuff. It took a lot of discipline to trust the process and stick to it and work. And then you start seeing, it's amazing. Like when you write stuff down and come up with goals, like how fast you start accomplishing them, even though sometimes you don't even realize it. Then you look back at the year or the quarter, and you're like, holy cow, look what we just did. It's really powerful. And it feels good too, because sometimes you can be accomplishing a lot of stuff and not realize what you've done and kind of feel empty inside, right? So being able to kind of measure it as well and verify it is very fulfilling.
How do you, being that you work with coaches and you guys adopt EOS at very high level, sound camps of your team, how about the leaders within your organization? How do you make sure that they're getting consistent training and that they are working on their own professional development? Something I've heard John say, and probably Nick and all my smart friends say, is you have to be empowering the leaders within your org. So how do you do that?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. So we have our leadership meeting every single week where we're talking like actually actions with that we're trying to accomplish in our metrics and accountability in the rocks. But then separately, one-on-one, I'm meeting with my team leaders. I'm very much into empowering them to do their job and roll with their ideas until they don't work, right? Like I'm not one of those people that's going to like micromanage them and say, like, I trust that if I've done a good job hiring, that I'm going to let them make their big decisions, small decisions, all that kind of stuff, until it's like we've hit a roadblock where they come to me and ask for help. And then I can usually kind of help them figure it out. We're big into reading. Like if you ask John, like John suggests a book to me, I'm reading it, then I'm giving it out to my whole team reading it, we're discussing it, and that stuff works. I mean, I know it sounds so simple, but if you're constantly reading 2 or 3 business books every single year and like ideating on them and implementing, like that's where the development comes from. It comes from getting coached, comes from reading, comes from listening to really great, powerful podcasts and webinars and that kind of stuff. It doesn't just come like from doing work all day, right? It's like you got to kind of sit back, ideate, and then implement. So I'm just constantly challenging them to get better and to do more. And I think they love that. We had super big time retention on our leadership team over the course of the years. And it's because I think people have loved seeing the growth. And honestly, this past year this last 18 months, 19 months in real estate, but also in the mortgage business has been really hard. It's the first time we've had to actually scale our team back, and that's not fun. And we've gotten through it together by constant communication. Those systems of communication have been both one-on-one and as a team have been important. We've never stopped recognizing and rewarding both our team leaders and also the team members throughout that time. Never stop holding everybody accountable. I think being that guidance, or I know John likes to say being the lighthouse, right, is very, very important in times like this, because people want to know where they're going and how to get there. And I think I've been that person.
When you have metrics based on sales only, they will be rewarded only when their sales are going up. And when their sales go down, they question everything. Yep. And so, Shant, what I'm hearing from you is when you're investing in people's growth in sales, but also in personal development, books, leadership, they can see metrics intrinsically going up. And they're going to stay even when the sales are down. And it looks, considering you're in mortgage and you went from 2.2 billion to 600 million, right? Like, how is that what's keeping you on course? Is that you're still progressing as a human being?
100%. It's actually, it's a great way you framed it. And yes, 100%. Because like, I know that when I trust that I'm doing the right things, because like purely just like the effort is there. We're working on the business. We're coming up with ideas. We're observing the market and making changes to it, talking to our partners and clients to see what they need. But yeah, we're like all in. Like I have people, I haven't slowed down anything in terms of like the coaching that I'm getting. I haven't slowed down the coaching that I'm providing to my team. If anything, we've ramped that up. We've had more people kind of coming in and talking. We've ramped up our individual training sessions that we talk about. So like we haven't once stopped focusing on improving all the efficiencies and systems and processes. Like obviously the outcome is not as high as I want it to be, but I also measure myself against the rest of the industry and know that we're doing all the right things if our margin or our market share is increasing versus where everybody's at. Like we're actually, our application count, lead flow, all that kind of stuff, fundings are all like beating the market in terms of how much all that stuff's down. So like you have to know there's a part of it, like again, what I said at the beginning of this, I'm not paying attention to the noise. I'm educating myself in terms of what's going on, but I don't listen to all the stuff about all the challenges in the sense of like just the noise. I've eliminated negative people from my life. I will tell you that. It's like one of the biggest things I've done is like people that just want to have conversations about how difficult everything is. Like I'm not having those kind of calls, and I'm just focused on like everything that we need to do right now in order to keep winning. And because I do know whether you're in real estate, whether you're mortgage, whatever you do, like whoever like does a really great job, like thriving right now is really, really going to thrive like 10x over the course of the next 12, 24, 36 months.